Good morning. I'm on my way to Utah this morning. I'm just getting ready to go onto the salt flats. I'm just turn this around. And I'm just passing through Wendover. Sorry about the really filthy windshield there. Really mars the view. I love the salt flats. I think they're a really magnificently healing place. Something about the space that is very appealing to me. I do love the desert though. I think I've mentioned that multiple times. The particular desert is really interesting to me. Anyway, I've been having some thoughts as I've been driving along. I've been contemplating the word and. The power of the word and versus or. I see a lot of condemnation flying around. Probably because I'm on social media too much. If I just wasn't on social media, I could pretend it didn't exist. I wouldn't see it. But I like staying connected with family and friends. You know, honestly, the advent of social media has been fabulous for me. Because I'm a friendly person, but I tend to also be quite introverted. I like to be home. I like to be home. I like spending time alone. I enjoy just thinking, contemplating, reading, listening to good music, painting, things that are essentially solitary in nature. So social media is nice because I can stay connected with people that way. And it's great. I love it. I really appreciate it. It appeals to me. But I've seen a trend towards extremism and a belief in duplicity instead of duality. And it's how we use the word or, essentially. And the superpower that goes along with using the word and instead. I had a good friend, Hillary, talk to me about this a few years ago. And I had experienced the phenomenon that she explained about how the word but in an argument or a discussion negates a person's experience. And, you know, you'll be talking to someone and you'll say, I did this and this and this because of this, this, and this. And someone will say, well, yeah, okay, I can recognize that you did this and you did this, but because this happened, this is how I feel, blah, blah, blah. And the word but essentially means everything before that word means nothing to me. And that's not good. So the power of and instead of but in an interpersonal conversation is powerful. And I believe that the word and in conjunction with the word or is just as powerful, if not maybe even more powerful on a societal level. Here's what I mean. And I'll tell you an example because it makes it easy to understand. I had a discussion with a friend, probably, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And we were discussing an event that had happened. And it was pretty much an argument. We were trying to keep it from becoming an argument because we deeply care about each other. And the argument still got heated because my friend explained some reasoning behind some things that she had done. And I explained my interpretation of those events and how it had impacted me. And she rejoined my description of how I had been hurt by her actions with kind of an accusation. And she said, "Are you accusing me of being duplicitous?" And I had to think about it because no, I don't think she ever intended to hurt me or to deceive me or to mislead me in any way. So a little bit of definition here. To be duplicitous is to mislead someone intentionally, to tell them one thing while you intend something else. You know, a lie. And a lot of people, they don't really lie on purpose. Most people don't. You know, sometimes sometimes people will tell a lie because they just want to get out of dealing with something. You know, somebody will call on the phone and say, is Mrs. DeMille home? And you don't want to deal with a telemarketer, and you also don't want to be rude, so you say, no, she's gone. Can I take a message? That's a lie. I hope I don't go to hell for that. But I do that sometimes. I hate being rude, you know? I mean, that's their job. I hate being rude to people who do telemarketing because they're a person too, and you don't want to just tell them you think it's crappy to call someone when they haven't asked you for their services and you don't want to deal with it. So, you know, just say, no, she's not home. So, that's a lie. That is a lie. We each tell some of those things, I think. But for the most part, in important interpersonal relationships, most of us inherently understand the importance of honesty, the importance of integrity between our actions and our words, right? We value that. It's essential. But when we run into an interpersonal relationship, our actions, when they leave us, when we perform an action, we are no longer in control of how that impacts someone else. Someone else can perceive our actions completely differently. It does not mean that we lied. What it means is there's an element of duality to our natures. Now, duality is to have two opposing thoughts or positions held within the same overarching thought. Kind of like this. You can be a person who loves your family, and you can also say things that hurt them. You can be a Democrat and honor fiscal responsibility. You can be a Republican and care deeply about helping and serving the poor. I'm using those ones specifically because those are things I have seen on social media. Like, if you love your family, you will never say anything to hurt them. Well, that's just, I gotta call BS on that. People say things that are hurtful all the time, not because they intend to hurt. They're not being duplicitous. They're not trying to hurt you and deceive you. Sometimes people don't understand that what they're saying hurts, or their need is tremendous and they're not setting out to hurt you, but they say something that hurts you because you're figuring out where the relationship is between where you begin and where they end. That's the power of the word "and." Someone can be loving and say things that are not particularly nice. Someone can struggle with an addiction and be filled with faith and hope. Someone can be full of joy because of an essential event in their life that changed them, that made them a better person, and be full of sorrow because someone they love is not there to share it with them. That is the duality of life. We can be lots of things all at once. In fact, I'm going to venture to say that as human beings, we are more often dual-natured than we are single-minded. We can be a really great parent and be a little bit caught up in our own needs instead of the needs of our children. We can put our family first and focus a little too much on work or whatever else it is we're engaged in. The power of the word "and" allows us to be flexible in the lines that separate the various portions of our life. We're not turning people into monoliths. You're either all good or all bad. You're good and bad. You're not turning people into caricatures. So that you're not obsessed with money or a bleeding heart. You're someone who cares about their finances and someone who cares about people. And lets us find balance. It's like the teeter-totter word, right? Instead of pigeonholing thought processes and people and political groups and religions and whole entire cultures and ethnicities into spaces where they don't really fit because it's too narrow, and gives us the opportunity to see people as they are in all their glorious messiness, and is a superpower word. It really is. It lets us see more than one thing. So the next time you're having a discussion with someone and they give you this false dichotomy that you can only be one thing or something else, just return it with and. Say, you know what? I can be this and that. I can support women's rights and really love and support men. That's not an either-or position. I support people. I believe in them as individuals and as collectives. Anyway, just my thoughts as I'm driving across the desert here. I'm going to show you. I don't even know if you can see it. I just love it. As my daughter often reminds me, the camera never does the beauty justice. But we still try. Anyway, I hope you have a great day and enjoy every moment of it.